Hey guys, Christine here with Cardamom Blogs. So today is Wednesday, and I did say that I was going to update you guys on Wednesday whether or not I got my money into my Rely card. So as you guys know, I had uploaded that video, and if you haven't seen that one, I will link it here. But in that video, I showed you guys exactly everything I had to go through. It was just such a mess with the site shutting down off and on, and the queue and all this other nonsense. But I was able to file for my 5 weeks that I was owed, and so today the money went through into my Rely card. Now, when I first looked on my Rely card this morning, I was a little confused. Okay, and this was about 5 o'clock. I guess around 5 is when they upload the money. So at 5 o'clock, I look on my Rely card, and I'm going to share with you guys a screenshot. This is what I saw, $1,350 and 66 cents. Now, the 66 cents is what I had on it prior to this money going in. So I had calculated that I was supposed to get $2,225. And so I'm like, okay, well, I'm calculating it, and I'm like, okay, so they owe me $875. What in the world happened to the $875? I go back on my PUA dashboard, and I'm like, okay, maybe I didn't look at it correctly. And I'm like, no, okay, so $445 for 5 weeks, that calculates to $2,225. January 2nd to January 30th, as you can see, the payment amount, all the numbers are the same. And then you can see the stimulus amount is at the $270, right? And then if we go over to my payment summary, this is exactly what I was going off of. So as you can see, $445. So that's including the $195. Remember, they take out the taxes, so it would be $175. And then they already take out the 10% out of the $300, which is the $270, which gives me a total of $444, right? So I circle there, all 5 weeks would give me $2,225. And then as you can see in the other circle under trans number, all of the transaction numbers are the same. So when you see all the transaction numbers are the same, that means that it's going to be in one lump sum. So I'm like, okay, well, what gives? I didn't get all the money from the $175 at the 5 weeks, right? So then I'm like, oh my goodness, I'm going to be on the phone with them. I'm going to be on the phone if I even get through to them to try to figure out what is going on. So then I said, you know what? Let me check again. So then I check again about a half hour later, so probably about 5:30, and then sure enough, there was the $2,225. And so I was like, oh my goodness, thank goodness, all of the money finally went through. So the Department of Labor have stated that half of the people have been paid, and then other people are either getting half of the money or they are still waiting for the money, and that they are working with the vendor. Now they want to work with the vendor. I mean, they should have been doing that before. I just don't understand. If the system is so confusing for them and they have to continue to ask a vendor, they need to get a better system, because you guys already know how I feel about that. I've already stated in previous videos that both of my daughters, one from New York and the other one from Massachusetts, none of them had to go through this, okay? In the beginning, the first care package, yes, they had to wait. I think all of our states had to wait. But, I mean, this is the second time around, like I've stated before. I know some people want to blame Trump for this, continue to blame Trump for everything that's going on. But you know what? We have to move on, okay? Whether you liked him or not, it really doesn't matter. There's a new administration, okay? And I would be really concerned. Some people don't want to hear about it. I get that. Growing up, they would say stuff like, the 2 things you shouldn't talk about is religion and politics. And I would have to disagree with that. I feel like the more you know about things, the better prepared you can be. Okay? So, and nobody's going to be able to brainwash you, okay? Because whether you want to believe it or not, and you want to hate me in the comments or whatever, we're being brainwashed, okay? We're being gaslighted, and we have blinders on. And you're listening to, CNN and all those other mainstream networks. They're biased. No matter how much you want to say that they're not, or they try to claim that they're not, you know what non-bias is? Non-bias is when you look at something with transparency, okay? So you don't invest with your emotion, okay? So you look here to the right and you go, oh, is this what's going on here? Okay. You look to the left and you're like, oh, I see what's going on here. And you come to a conclusion with the information you have here and the information that you have over here. And that's not what's going on. What they're doing is, since they're for a certain party, they want to make sure that anything that is happening here is not shown, okay? So that we don't know what is going on, so we can't make our own minds up, all right? And that's the thing. That's what concerns me. So the thing is, we keep electing these people, like I said, not me personally, because I don't even cast a vote, okay? I'm not even registered to vote, which also brings me to this next point. I am not registered to vote. So I don't understand why they continue to profile me, okay? And it's the Democratic Party that continues to send me numerous emails. But you know what else is so suspicious? What's sus, or whatever you want to call it? I haven't received not one email from the Republican Party, okay? Which is the conservatives. So this is what I'm confused about. You have these Democrats that are assuming that since I'm a minority, because I'm considered a minority, okay? I'm not white. So therefore, if you're not white and you're black or you're Latina, then you're considered a minority, right? Okay. We already know that Joe Biden had made a statement that if you didn't vote for him, then you were not black, right?
You got more questions, but I tell you, if you have a problem figuring out whether you're for me or Trump, and you ain't black, it don't have nothing to do with Trump. It has to do with the fact I want something for my community.
What he basically should have stated was, you're not a minority if you don't vote for him. This is what I'm talking about when I say the blinders, okay? And you have to start waking up. And honestly, it is we the people, the real people that their policies affect, okay, that has to start speaking up. You cannot continue to vote for a person because you're like, well, I can't stand this person here, but if their policies are good and they help me more as a minority, that's the candidate I should be picking, not because of their personality, but because of what their policies are. This is why I'm not for either party, because I feel like they're all gonna just lie about whatever it is so that they can get in. And then once they get in, and let me just tell you, this is not just me and my opinion. If you haven't been watching the Congress's hearing, then you really need to start opening your eyes, okay? I know they're long. They're really long. They're sometimes, I think the longest one I've ever watched was about 7 hours. And I had to pause in between because it was just too much. You can't just watch it all 7 hours. So the thing is that they are holding a hearing today. And there's even a Democratic senator that's like, what Biden is doing right now with all these executive orders, okay, and especially the one that she's talking about.
On January 20th, I joined my colleagues on the front steps of the Capitol for the inauguration of our 46th president, Joe Biden. At a time when divisions run deep within our country, I thought President Biden's call for unity, where he pledged to be a president for all Americans, struck just the right tone. As my Democratic colleagues in this body can attest to, I'm always willing to work with anyone, Republicans, Democrats, and independents, on issues that will improve the lives of my fellow Iowans and all Americans. Sadly, the actions we've seen in the first few days of this administration do not seem to honor the promise President Biden made to Americans throughout his campaign and again on Inauguration Day. In just 2 weeks, the president has already signed over 25 executive orders. That's a significantly more amount than any president in recent history in this short amount of time. And let's be clear, folks, he's not just breaking norms, he's obliterating them. Even the New York Times editorial board called on him to ease up on the executive actions. And they're not wrong, folks. That's something that I don't say very often. Now, I fully understand that the power of executive order is often unpopular when your party does not control the White House. But when you set out to be the unifier in chief, which is something we hoped President Biden would be, one would hope that the actions you take would unify or at least be a little more mainstream. The reality is that's just not been the case. What the new president has done in just 2 weeks on the job is show us his true colors and his desire to appease the more radical wing of his party. It's disheartening for someone who believes that the way we should be working together is a bipartisan path. We've already seen disastrous decisions harmful to American businesses and workers, decisions that resemble the likes of the radical Green New Deal.
So she basically was saying that he promised certain things, unity and stuff like that, but yet he laid off like 1,000 workers. Like, how can the economy get back on track? Okay, I get it. It's kind of boring or whatever, but I'm telling you, this goes deep. This runs deep, and people need to, so we need to start waking up. We have to stop electing these officials that have no idea what it feels like to live in the ghetto with drug dealers and drug addicts and stuff like that. They're complaining about what happened January 6th. They feared for their life. Well, guess what? We as Americans, a lot of us don't have that privilege. I was raised in the Bronx, okay, in New York. And at a certain time, you knew you better be in your house, okay? You have to be in your apartment. You're not going to be out there and endangering yourself that you could potentially get raped, you could potentially get mugged, you know, a lot of stuff. And let me tell you, my grandmother, okay, I personally have never gotten mugged, but my poor grandmother that was around 75 years old at the time was mugged, okay? And she had bruises and she had to go to the hospital and all that stuff. So the fact that they act like, oh my gosh, our lives were in danger. Guess what? We the people, the ones that do have to go through this for real in real life, and every day it could be a potential of getting, you know, our safety being at risk. No. Honestly speaking, I feel like things should change. You shouldn't be elected just because you went to college for, you know, economics or whatever it is. I guess anybody could be a congressman, right? Or congresswoman, because I know Alexandria Cortez, she is a congresswoman. She's known as the youngest congresswoman. So I don't know. You know, the thing is, and okay, yeah, she was also from the city and stuff like that, but she sure don't act like she's from the city. You know, yeah, okay, she talks about, oh, and us, and this and this and that, but then she's a hothead. She's constantly saying nonsense. And let me just tell you, she doesn't just represent all of us Latinas and Latinos, okay? Because for me, I think it's pointless to go and accuse people of certain things that don't even make sense, that you just blurt out whatever you want to say, and then you make us look dumb as a race, okay? Because I am not dumb. I actually think things through, all right? That's just how I was brought up. And yes, I'm a little rebellious, okay? Because my mom could tell you I'm definitely rebellious. My family will say, yes, she is. If she doesn't believe in something, she's not going to go for it. But that's just the thing. We have to stop allowing these elected officials that have no idea what the struggle really is. And we the people have a right. They're just a 1%. We are the majority. We are the ones that are going through this stuff. You know what I feel? I feel like each candidate, okay, whether it's for you going to be a governor, you want to be a congressperson, you want to be the president, whatever, they should have to go live in those environments. Not just go there and speak. They should have to be forced as part of their candidacy. Okay, so basically they would have to put their feet in someone else's shoes. That is the only way that they could really relate to us as we the people. You relate to me, what? Just because your skin is maybe the same color as mine, so you have those struggles, but yet you really didn't have those struggles? So I just feel like something has to be done, and we can't just continue to allow them. You know, I say this in my comments. I've been saying this. Something has to be done. We cannot just continue to let them gaslight us, okay? We just can't. All right, guys, that's enough with my rant. I digress so far, but like, honestly speaking, I am getting so annoyed with what is going on. I'm getting so annoyed that they have so much control over us, and we don't have any control. Literally, we have no control. They will say whether or not what we could do, whether we could open, whether you could go back to work. And we need to stop saying, yeah, something has to be done. We have to stop complaining about, oh, it's so unfair. They should be fired, this, that. Because if we're not doing anything, all we're doing is we're on the bench, okay? Complaining that the coach didn't put us in, okay? I'll give you that reference for you guys out there. We are on the bench because the coach didn't put us in, and we're complaining instead of saying, all right, well, you know what? Let me show him what I got. So that way I'm not on the bench next time around, right? That's usually how the movies go. That's usually how it goes in the sports for But seriously, we have to start doing stuff. And I'm not, like I stated before, I'm not talking about protesting, because for me, I feel that the protest gets spun, okay? So you might start with being peaceful, and all of a sudden people's emotions get invested, and then they start doing, you know, crazy stuff, and you can't even control. And then the whole narrative, the whole reason for you protesting peacefully gets taken over by chaos, right? And so then they don't take you seriously, because now they categorize you in that radical behavior, okay? Even though you were out there protesting peacefully, okay? And that's what we need to start looking at. We have to stop allowing them to spin the narrative, okay? We have to, as a people, now I know it's too cold now, but something has to be done. That is why I created that email for you guys to start getting involved. Thank you so much for your kind words and stuff. But if you really want to help us out, us as a community, so that this does not happen to us again, we have to start, you know, letting them hear what we got to say. That is the bottom line. All right, so I'm going to close out now, because I know that I've ranted and I'm probably going to get hate, but it's whatever. I don't care. It's because nobody wants to hear about politics, but that's the reason why they do whatever they want to us, because we don't want to. It bores us. It's ridiculous. We feel that we don't have a right, but we do have rights. We're allowing them to take them from us, okay? So we have to wake up. You know, you could lead a horse to water, but you can't force it to drink, right? That's it. So if you get the information, you can't not unhear or unsee. That's the thing. If you stay not doing anything, then you really are complicit. That is the bottom line. Alright guys, so I'm going to close out this video. If you haven't already, make sure you subscribe to the channel. Click on that bell notification so you are notified every time I upload a video. And as always guys, you be safe out there. Bye!